Welcome to Fashion Africa Conference 2017. Today's theme is Africa, Fashion's Future, and the African Opportunity.
I think there is, the word that springs to mind is opportunity. There is so much potential because, as we've heard several times, so much of raw material just gets taken away. So there's a real need for that value addition. So there is a huge potential to diversify economies, for textile manufacturing to grow, and also to harness the innate creativity and vibrancy of African design and actually have that produced within the continent rather than having to import fabrics from China or somewhere else in Asia. What we've launched recently is, we've had a mission now for 2 years actually, that every single year, everything that we bring in that's new will be from sustainable fibres. So we have switched from conventional to organic, and wherever possible, if there's already product that's in conventional, we're converting it in time to organic.
Let's think about the materials that's used. It should be good materials, non-hazardous materials. That's the way to start, because then, to make sure that you're going to reuse, reworn, is going to be possible. Then you can create circular fashion as really good fashion. Because circular, again, is not sufficient, because if you circulate the bad, then it's also bad. So you need to go from the start. CNA have produced the first cradle-to-cradle gold certified t-shirt. It basically means that you can leave it on the ground, it will turn into compost. Now, the environmental activists say that's not what it's meant to be, which is true, but it goes to show that it was really from that five goods perspective. CNA wants to show with Fashion for Good that it's possible, but it's also CNA's gift to the world that this is not just CNA, it's open source. You go check out our Good Fashion Guide, and it's got a whole roadmap, videos, etc., how that t-shirt was produced. So anyone out there, go produce.
We're undergoing quite major changes at the moment, moving from being a fabric supplier to a brand business, brand fashion business. And it's something that we're kind of changing and learning about at the moment. So we're working closely with we're printing the fabric, we're designing the patterns for the fabric, but the local designers, that collaboration is key in them creating their creations, their garments, using our fabric. And working together, us as designers, we kind of get more of an idea of what to design, how to design. You know, we're learning from them. You know, whereas before we were just supplying fabric.
Exactly.
Sub-Saharan Africa Africa, population, I want to give you a number. 30%, 31% of the population is below 24. Europe, below the age of 24, 12% of the population. It's a very young continent with a mountain of young people. We have international companies that come to Africa and source from artisans. That's our work. We have also good companies set up in Africa that source from artisans. But we don't have many African designers that source from artisans in Africa. Being a designer means being creative, finding solutions to problems. And that's a culture in the African fashion industry about, look, let's follow the path of Europe, let's follow the path of this, let's follow the path of that. But you've got to be more brave. You've got to do more with the artisans. You've got to do more in your own society. Don't do that, you are missing an opportunity, and it's a recipe for a disaster, for a social disaster on a global scale.
For me, Africa offers a unique opportunity to create a clothing industry that learns from all of the bad stuff and the mistakes that have happened in the rest of the world. To be able to kind of jumpstart some of those things and use the core African culture of being passionate about our people and passionate about our kids and about our weekends being sacrosanct and all of those things, but still be able to develop an industry that learns not to do the bad stuff that's happened elsewhere in the world. So for us, for Ethical Apparel Africa, moving and looking at Africa was, for me, a no-brainer in terms of a culture and an opportunity. It's a great way to give people extra jobs and to create jobs within there, but it's really important that those jobs are worthwhile.
I hear a lot from people and designers that they're not online or they don't share online things because they're worried of being copied.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's a weird fear because I feel like everyone gets copied, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like almost like someone once said, if you're being copied, that's a compliment because you did something so well, someone wants to do it as well. So I feel like it's a weird fear and we should get over that fear because if you're not online, if you're not on Instagram, you don't exist, you know? It's like, how is anyone supposed to find you? You know, most sellers, they don't even go to fashion weeks anymore. They go online and check who's there, you know? Like, how can I find someone who's interesting and engaging? And if you're not online because you're worried, someone might copy you, you might be missing an opportunity. Absolutely. So I really feel like you have to be on Instagram, you have to be on Facebook. Even Facebook is kind of the dying giant, but it's still one of the platforms that has a huge reach. So I feel like be there, be present, and even if you don't have a website, at least be on Instagram with your WhatsApp number. Absolutely. And don't hide in front of and because of your fear of being copied. I think I think it's almost irrelevant and ridiculous. Just get over it.
Well, certainly in the context of the work that we do in Proudly Made in Africa, for us, the future of fashion is in Africa, and Africa's future is very connected to fashion in that we say it all the time, but I'm going to say it again, sourcing and buying is becoming as a profession, it's becoming more ethically aware. Buyers are looking for traceable, short, clear supply chains, and Africa can offer that in a way that actually that Asia can't. And so I think the future for Africa is in positioning itself as the destination for sourcing. Based on these considerations that are new but becoming bigger and stronger all of the time, that is about ensuring traceability and social and environmental responsibility.
So now we're focusing in Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is really strategic area now for footwear business. Big Chinese companies now investing almost $2 billion in creating the whole shoe town. It's going to employ like 100,000 people. Ethiopia produces textile, but it's still challenging because we need to have special grade, sort of density, and again, we need to invest more and see how we can create the materials that we, the quality that we need. Now we just launched this new minimalist product, and we're selling it online, and we're going to distribute through Clark's for autumn-winter 17, and we're working with Vivo Barefoot, a London-based company who we're collaborating on basically product design. And there is a store in Covent Garden, and then online website serves worldwide delivery.
We basically saw the Rana Plaza disaster as a call to arms, and we demand for transparency and for a fairer fashion industry. The question that we started asking when we began, we thought would be relatively simple. Who made my clothes? Little did we know that very, very few brands can answer this. The fashion supply chain is convoluted, complicated, and it certainly doesn't lead the consumer, for instance, to the farmer that makes cotton that will make that t-shirt. So our focus so far has been very much social, but we are introducing a much bigger environmental focus over the next few years, looking at waste in particular, which is also why I'm very interested to be sitting here today, because I know that the selling of second-hand clothing in Africa has had its very, very powerful impact.
So our focus has always been on how do we build a more sustainable future for fashion? And Africa has been at the heart of that for me. I grew up in Zambia and Zimbabwe, and one of our first projects was the Ethical Fashion Africa project with Vivienne Westwood, so you might have seen her bag range that she's brought out, and Stella McCartney is now working with that project too, which has raised the profile a little bit, but I see so much potential. We recognise that we were only working with a very small proportion of the industry, those people who are already doing sustainable fashion or who are interested in doing so, and that's a minute proportion of the industry. You recognise if we really want to change the way this industry operates, we need to create a tool that reaches everybody. And we've launched and we've rebranded, the name of the new platform is called Common Objective, or CO, standing for Better Business. CO, Better Business. We have a common objective as an industry to develop fashion that doesn't trash our planet or trash its people, and anyone in business has a common objective to generate revenue. Business has to generate revenue. Those are the two objectives of our site.
So the Kenyan government has provided a lot of support and development in the tourism industry, and also looking at models such as homegrown and tax incentives for domestic travel, as well as reducing airport tariffs. So these things are really fundamental to helping something like the fashion industry, because you have the movement of people, you have demand for local produce, you have the exposure for locally produced items and products. But the really interesting aspect for me is the infrastructure that goes into facilitating tourism. So, the flight movement between Nairobi and the coast, for example, this is really exciting for the movement of low-value goods. So, I think all this infrastructure going into for tourism, I'm really excited to see where it can help push small industries or developing or growing industries like the fashion industry.
There are lots of things that need to be solved, and it's by coming together we will start to solve some of those things. And we need to come together before our governments will recognise that we are a voice to be listened to.
Who in these places here, where we sit, should be consumers of all of these goods? Who should be consumers of the production in Rwanda or South Africa? Who should we be saying, I want to buy this, so that actually the investors and businesses want it because their consumers want it? I don't think we talk about that enough to bring investor confidence.
The one thing I realized when I used to work for government is that governments are not good at communicating their offering, and as a result they feel that the offerings that government have benefit, and it becomes only them. So if the starting point in entering each country could be the ministries of trade, the ministries of industry. Hold them accountable and say, what incentives do you have for me? What financing do you have for me? That could be a starting point in terms of, moving into the rest of the continent, because they are there, but it's just that they're not well communicated, as you said, David.
Manufacturing is booming in Africa, but we need to not create the factories of the past. We need to look at the digital innovations, and I compared what I hope happens to the use of mobile phones. Everyone's got them, skip the landline straight to the mobile.
Yeah.
If you need some expertise from outside, people get trained, then you can have, potentially a manufacturer of those machines and the parts. And so, that's a really big thing for me personally, with Walter Benham and my vision for the future, and really transposing the knowledge that I'm getting in Portugal with some of my partners in Portugal. It's we can export machinery and know-how, train people, and start competing, start owning the intellectual property.
There's too much with different fashion players in the West, there's too much looking at Africa as all these poor people that we have to help get a job or whatever. There's that kind of approach, where instead of saying, okay, fashion is a business, it employs a heck of a lot of people. What strong fashion entrepreneurs and designers are there on the continent that we can partner with to roll out some exciting products to get in our shops globally. Everything is about brand nowadays. That's what sells products, and that's where the money is. So, and it marries well into the whole digital economy of Africa, where everybody's on their mobile phone wanting to buy a brand. So we need to get African brands into the global space.
So let's just talk about the designers that you have on board, because as you said, you've got some great names of designers. How would an emerging designer get involved with the project with the EFI?
It's difficult because we ask designers to provide market access. So when you engage with us, you have to engage in product development and production every season, and you have minimum quantities. Because we have quite a big structure and we have overheads and all the rest, so we need quantities. So an emerging designer usually has problems with quantities. What we used to do, we interrupted it last year, but we start again in 2018, is to offer to emerging designers from Africa the possibility of a period of mentoring and of support in the market to grow, and through helping them to put their things in a boutique in Milano Fashion Week, or in the US with some partners, so that they can start growing, and then we can start working together production-wise as well. Whenever you see the UN in this context, you think cash cow to be milked. Get money out of that. You don't give money to anybody, give work. And the same is if you are an emerging designer. Pay me this, pay me that. I'm not there to pay your trade fairs, your things and that. I'm here to give you the introductions. I'm here to give you the support, technical support you need to grow. And then you have to pay something back to me. And if you pay something back, you work with the artisans in your country or in the region. That's the way to pay back.
So the designers that you have on board at the moment, there's always this challenge with working in Africa. Many people, it's a very romantic idea that, I really want to help Africa, I want to go in and try to do something. And there's many who are going in and doing that, but then they realize the realities.
It's tough.
They hit the wall and then they have to leave.
But it's tough also because many people come in a disorganized way. You go to an African country as you go to Italy, look at product development. Italy is the product development base of the world of today. It's not the production anymore, unfortunately. It used to be. But it's the product development base. You go to Italy, you have small companies, you ask, can you develop these shoes? In a second, they get you the last, the heel, the sole, the insole, everything. A week or so, and you have everything. 2 weeks maximum. To do this in Africa is more difficult. You don't have always the person to produce the last, so you have to go to another country. When you go there, you have to go first to look at what is available, and then you have to tailor your product development to that.
How, through my work, because we focus on ethical fashion in Africa, how are we going to include these new theories, these new models of business, these new practices of circular fashion, of recycling new materials? How are we going to implement that in Africa's value chain, the textile industry?
I don't think these things are so new. These things are about being responsible.
Yeah.
And if you work with artisans, you already do that because artisans in Africa are accustomed to recycling materials.
Yeah.
An artisan is somebody who is able to make a product from the beginning to the end. The disaster came when greed came in and we tailorized the work to produce fashion. So we broke down the different tasks to make a bag, to make a jacket, to make a pair of shoes into several small tasks that are always performed by the same person. So the work of this person who always does the same stitch here is worth nothing. The work of the artisan who makes the whole of the shoe is worth a lot, is more precious. So if you work in this framework, giving dignity to people, giving good work to people, working with artisans, then you naturally access all these new things, the circular economy, because you find ways to have less impact, to find more time for people to have a more positive social impact, to recycle stuff and this and that. And all this is feasible in Africa. We've done recently a collection of shoes, recycling the tires, or for the soles, or we have recycled plastic in many different ways. We have recycled the blankets of the army into bags. We have recycled the shukas of the blankets of the Maasai people into bags. We have recycled the shirts to make the lining of the bags for Vivienne Westwood so many times. So all these things are not so new. They are innovative because we have lost connection to that. But if you are responsible, if you work with artisans, if you work with people, you naturally do that.
You've been in the game for a little while now, and what impact have you seen with the work that you are doing on the small scale?
We do impact assessment, which is to say we have a team of social workers wherever we work who do an assessment, a social assessment of how the life of people changes through the work they get. So through our impact assessment, we see the communities where we work with, life has changed. Housing, sanitation, access to healthcare, education, kids go to school, girls go to school. We have women who own property and who didn't own anything in the family before. We have women who are the breadwinner of the family, and therefore they have gained a new form of respect in their society, in their community. Impact is there. You measure impact, you see that. But this kind of impact is an impact which is directly on society, on the families. So a family where you have this kind of income, you have the kids who go to school, you have the kids who have health care, you have proper housing, you create a new society. This is about building the social capital of tomorrow.
Start doing things seriously, to engaging, to remove the bottlenecks, and to give people dignified working conditions. As employees, as artisans, that's the future.
Jackie. Oh, Mati. So, it's been a long day.
Long 2 days.
Long 2 days, exactly.
Our first 2-day conference.
I know.
Wow.
So tell us, what's the feedback?
Feedback. I'm still trying to just process everything. We've had talks about the sourcing side of the industry, about manufacturing. We've spoken, had students giving their thesis. We've had designers talking. We've had so much, just every aspect of the industry. And for me, it's highlighting where we're at where Africa is at right now, and definitely the opportunities going forward. So I feel that we have spoken about the theme, which was Africa Fashion's Future and African Opportunity. We've definitely tapped into that in all the panel talks over the 2 days, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, it has.
Eye-opening. I've learned. I'm always learning. I'm like, I want to join this.
You want to join your own event?
I really want to join my own conference. It's been really good. It has been. I'm really grateful for all our sponsors, and CNA Foundation really believed in everything we've been doing, and I'm so grateful for their support. Couldn't have done it without them. Mantis World always continuing to support. Hatch Africa, our strategic partners, have been great. Karma Cola, who supplied our drinks last night, they were nice though, right?
Yeah, they were nice.
I got a few that I took home. Sierra Leone is amazing. Who else? Fashion for Good, Mantis World, always supporting us, encouraging, and proudly made in Africa, soul of Africa.
Duma Clark?
Doma Clark,
yeah.
Clark's Shoes, Lance Clark was the director of that. So he came yesterday, last night, enjoyed. Been really good. The networking opportunity last night was sponsored by Proudly Made in Africa. And I just found that we had the opportunity for us all just to get together and really do the things that I wanted to do with these events, is bringing people together, having conversations, and then going on to do business. You know, that's what is needed, and there's nothing like that in Europe.
No,
we are the only ones doing that, and I think it shows that the opportunity is there, the need is there. So it's been really good.
What would you say is your vision of Africa's future?
I would love to see Africa just trading as everybody else is trading, everyone from Asia to the US, trading the same way and not seen as something separate, as a maybe, or let's jump on board because it's in right now. I want to see Africa just trading the same way that Asia is, and it's just somewhere that people naturally go to in the fashion industry. Is part of their sourcing, is part of, you know, where they research or do sourcing and manufacturing. That's how I'd like to see it. But I also, for Africa's fashion future, I see it also as the place where new ideas would come from and new ways of doing fashion. So and reinvention, a revolution, like we had Fashion Revolution here, and Ursula spoke about that, you know, is having a revolution of the industry now. Doing things differently and doing things better. Doing fashion for good, you know?
Is there any products that you guys are launching right now that you'd like us to know about?
There's some way telling and some way not quite telling yet until that baby is ready. So we are launching, we just launched our sourcing trips, Fashion Africa sourcing trips.
I was going to ask for that too.
Hashtag go fast with us. Hashtag.
Good part.
The good one, right?
It's a good one.
I like it. Go fast with us. So we went to Ghana in March. That was in partnership with the British Council and Hatch Africa. It was so good. Our video is on Vimeo and YouTube, which people can watch now. And we are going back to Ghana because it was so good and more people wanted to join.
Awesome.
And we're going to Ethiopia, which is the key country right now, the hot topic for Africa and production and sourcing. And we're also going to Kenya, another key country in Africa for production and sourcing. So we'll be bringing designers and retailers or buyers, anyone who's got a vested interest in working with African production and manufacturing. And they're invited to come with us, go fast with us, and join us on our Fashion Africa sourcing trip in either of those 3 countries this October, 2017.
This is awesome. So, Jackie, as always, it's just a pleasure to speak to you, and we hope that next year is going to be
amazing. And thank you, Matty, amazing host, as always. Appreciate you, and I think that onwards and upwards. I'm interested to see in a year's time where African fashion is.
Totally.
And we'll definitely be part of it.
Yeah.